What's going on YouTube? So today we got Junior's car in here. He brought this car down from Massachusetts. Wanted me to check it out. So we're gonna be doing a couple things. First things first is figuring out the overheat issue. He says he just can't get it bled, seems to have air pockets constantly, and it'll overheat. I don't know how hot it's getting. I gotta get with him on that. Hopefully not hot enough to do any damage, but so we're going to, first what I'm gonna get rid of all the coolant and I'm gonna pull a thermostat. I wanna make sure thermostat's in correctly, seals are in correctly. I might do like a flush with a hose through the radiator system, make sure the radiator's not clogged up and that we got good water flow. And then I'm probably gonna do my thermostat trick, which is drill a small bleeder hole in the top of the thermostat. And what that does is allow the water to bleed through. It's not a huge hole, it's a small hole, but it allows water to bleed through and kind of get back on the back of the thermostat so the thermostat will open. A lot of times with normal thermostats, they're solid, so it's hard to get water behind the thermostat. The thermostat will not open until the water gets behind it, and that's when it will start to open. So if you got a big air pocket between the motor and the thermostat, it won't open. No matter how much water you put in the radiator, get the hoses filled, it just will not open. So that's a big problem with the F series. For some reason, they get bad air pocket behind the motor and you just can't bleed it, and then the motor gets hot, And so what I do is I do a small bleeder hole that allows the water to get past, and it just allows for the whole bleeding thing to work better. And it's not gonna like crazy affect the thermostat or operating temperature. Yay, you're gonna have a small bleed hole, so it'll bleed a little bit of water past all the time. That's not a bad thing. There'll still be plenty of restriction to have the water stay in the radiator, get cooled off before it enters the motor. So first things first, we're gonna get rid of the coolant. I'm gonna pull the coolant pipe off and get thermostat out. Let you guys see what the thermostat looks like. This is an OEM thermostat. It does have the little bleeder guy, but I'm gonna remove that and drill a bigger hole there so that we have some bleed. But brand new thermostat, no concerns that it's not working. These work great and they work for years and years and years. So we're gonna get rid of this guy, drill a little hole up here for a bleed, and then we'll throw it back in and get this puppy bleeding. All right, we got our hole. I take a 5/32 drill bit, and I take the little bleeder out, and then I open up the hole a bit, and that's enough to let water slowly bleed past. It allows to bleed the system a lot easier, and it allows water to get back here in the back of the thermostat. So we're gonna stick her back in and see if it'll bleed better. I gotta run and get coolant. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take my car down the road to get coolant for him. I haven't had the car on the street since all the new setup, so kind of want to see what she'll do. So we'll go for a little ride. We'll come back, put coolant in this girl, and see if we can get it to bleed. Hopefully that's all it was. Hopefully we don't have a head gasket problem or something, because that would be awful. The radiator looks good, it's really clean, so I don't think we have any issues with like a clog. So hopefully it was just a bad bleed job and we can do it. All right, we got our coolant in. I did a bleed with the edge, and now we're gonna let her get warm. See if we can get her bled. See how the angle is, and actually this rubber coating burnt onto my exhaust protective stuff and got stuck. But you see that angle there? I'm gonna try to redo the angle. I don't know, maybe it's leaking here because it's such an extreme angle. So I'm gonna try to reroute it a little bit over that way, see if I can get it to not leak, but it is leaking. You can see all the oil down through there. So we'll figure it out here. All right, so we got the line off and it's a little chewed up in there. So you see all the metal and the chewed up, and then this side, it's not chewed up. So with AN fittings, these have to be nice and clean. So it looks like some trash got in there. I don't know if it was like that when I took it over to Bailey's, or I know he took it off to clean it. I don't know why it did that. There had to have been some trash somewhere. So I've been thinking about, I know you guys, if you were in my last video, I was talking about going away from these PTFE lines and going to the new stuff that Ryan Scott told me about. And I might just go ahead and make a new line. I was gonna take some emery cloth and kind of clean that up, but I might as well just do it right and make a new line, get some new fittings. And I think that side is fine. It looks clean, so I didn't bugger that up too bad. So I think that'll be okay. So I think I just need to make a new line. So another thing we're gonna be doing, I think I might look at them now since the car's up. I got some really nice new innovative billet mounts with really stiff rubber mounts in them. So these are pretty stiff. I got the Vibratex now, which they're great, but the reason I like these is because of how this bolt goes in from the side with the Vibratex bolt from the top. These are a lot easier to get in and out of the car. You can just slide the bolt out and then this comes right up and right down. So it's just gonna be easier to get the motor in and out. Plus these are a nice billet piece. I think it's gonna give me a little bit more sturdiness. The Vibratex are a great motor mount for street guys and stuff. Very minimum vibration at all, but they do have a little bit more flex. These are gonna have less flex. So I think we're gonna go ahead and see how these fit up, see if I can get them in now while the car is kind of sitting on stilts. All right, so we got the mounts in. You can see them down there. The problem was the factory holes made the whole engine too high. So I don't know if the Vibratex sit lower than factory or if these sit higher than factory, but I can't go much higher because my hood's gonna hit my turbo, not to mention it throws off my dump tubes and it creates a problem with me trying to remove my valve cover because the motor tilts back with these higher. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna run over to my dad's house, and these holes here, we are just going to elongate them downward to give a drop, so it drops the motor mount down. And we're gonna take probably like a 1/4 to 1/2 inch slot down. That way I have some movement and I'm able to move it down. So that should fix my height problem. So this feels like anything you get anymore, you have to modify or make it different. I mean, of course, my motor, engine setup, and transmission is different. These might bolt right up to a factory setup and you're fine, but with my adapter plates and everything, throwing everything off. So we're gonna modify these to make them work. All right, just left my dad's and we ended up notching these out. So you can see it notched down. So that way I have more clearance. We did about 1/4 inch because that's what we needed. So not home yet. I'm stopping at my buddy Ryan's and he has got some hose and fittings that I'm gonna make a new drain line. I hit him up. I know he's usually got a good bit of stuff over here. And I hit him up to see if he had line or else I was gonna have to order some. And I do have a race this weekend. I think I'd get it in time, but Ryan said he had some stuff to come on over. So I'm just waiting for him to stop in his house here and we're gonna see what kind of line he's got and see if something's gonna work for our new turbo drain because I gotta get that leak stopped. And then we'll head back, we'll try these mounts on. I'm gonna do a quick oil change with the 2050, make that new feed line, and that will wrap things up. Just got back from my buddy Ryan Scott. He has got some fittings for me. He's got a bunch of fittings in line there for me. I've known Ryan for a long time. He's got a YouTube channel, Pure Function. You guys check it out. He's a big super guy, has some really nice builds too. Pretty knowledgeable with ECUs and wiring, and he's all in electronic stuff. So give him a shout, Pure Function. He's always got fittings and stuff. I've gotten some push lock fittings from him in the past, and he's always willing to help out. And he only lives about 35, 40 minutes. So instead of having to order this stuff, he had some right at his house. So I ran over. This is the new Viton. It's super flexible, and it's stuff that he went to. He used to run the PTFE stuff too, and he moved to all this. So we're gonna give this a shot, see how the drain works out, and we'll go from there. So let's get making this line quick. So this is super nice stuff. You literally just put the sleeve down on the hose. The hose is right there. And then you just go ahead and stick her down in there and thread it in, and it just has a nice seal. So nice stuff. I might be moving all my stuff over to this. Well, that was literally a breeze to put that together. It's very tight and it's not going anywhere. So we're gonna get our measurement and get our 45. Well, there it is. That took 2 minutes. Super easy. Made it a little shorter. It's gonna fit a lot nicer in there. So awesome line, awesome fitting. As long as we don't leak, I'm gonna be one happy guy. So appreciate it, Ryan. I'm definitely going to be moving to this stuff. All right, we got our line in, looking good. Nice big opening for the exhaust. And our mounts are in with our slots and we are good to go. So good way to judge it is I close my hood and my gates line right up with the hole. And so far, I don't see it rubbing on top of my turbo. I could dent in a little area if I needed to. That actually rubbed a long time ago in a big Borg Warner I had. So hopefully it don't rub. If it does, I'm gonna massage that because I don't want that getting all boogered up. But anyways, I think we're in business. We're gonna tighten up all the motor mounts. I'm going to go ahead and finish. I'm gonna do the second sleeve. So this whole area is gonna be all sleeved. And then be able to start her up, make sure we're not got any leaks. So I don't know if you guys can see, but I do have very, very, very fine little bronze glitter between, you can see right there, between some of these plates and the filter. So, I mean, these bearings have been in since last year. So, nothing horrible. But I mean, there's obviously a little bit of material. You can see a little bit of it in the bottom there. I mean, the car still has, you know, great oil pressure. So I don't think I'm too concerned. I mean, I'm going to get some bearing wear, especially on this 2.4 crank. And most likely, I have a feeling it's the rod bearings. I might be getting a little beat up, but I don't think it's nothing to be too concerned about. Just watch my oil pressure. Probably after the next race, I'll pull the filter, cut that one open, and just see what type of material accumulates in one race and maybe some street driving. If it looks like it's accumulating a lot of material, then I might be at least pulling the pan and checking rod bearings, maybe putting a fresh set of rod bearings in it. So that's the thing you gotta do. You gotta keep an eye on this. And I mean, I've been running this car pretty hard and it's seeing some new power levels and some new boost levels. So still on a steel rod, it's gonna beat up rod bearings. So that's kind of the name of the game. All right, we're putting oil in her, going to the 2050 weight. Got everything buttoned up. Got all the way down to the end now. We got all the heat wrap stuff. And I put a big clamp up here. So we should be good to go. All right, we got oil pressure now. 40 pounds just at cranking. So, like I said, I don't have any I don't have any oil pressure problems, even though we saw a little bit of bearing material. Like I said, it's just kind of the name of the game for the amount of power we run. Well, guys, we are back in business. No leaks at all. So we got no leaks. The mounts work good. Car definitely shakes more. That was to be expected. And I tell you what, that line, really nice. And the engine, this is not that hot. Like, I can touch this right now. That's crazy. I wouldn't, and I just put it up on the two-step, so there's no way I'd be able to touch that downpipe. And this area right in here, nowhere near as hot as what it used to be. Of course, over here by the manifold, you can feel the radiant heat coming off of this. I could always wrap the mani, but I don't know if I want to do that just yet. I'm just going to see how it acts cruising with the downpipe. So, all right, let me show you guys what not to do. These wires, which are sensors for the car, are just shoved in there, electrical taped, and they are hoping to get some connection. And then these are all boogered up. I don't even know what they were doing. I'm assuming they don't know how to put a pin in and out. So basically, we're going to need to get a new D connector and repin everything, because this is how cars blow up. This is how stuff goes wrong. You can't do this, guys. You need to wire your stuff properly. I was down here trying to figure out where his input was for oil pressure, because it has an oil pressure sensor on the car. I'm following wires and stuff is just shoved into connectors. So this is what not to do. All right, well, for some reason, I tried bleeding it with the coolant. I can't get it bled. We switched over to water, so we're not wasting coolant. Then I noticed that the injector boots are not even in the intake. So that's a major leak. So I need to get spacers for the injectors. But I'm still gonna work on this coolant thing, see if we can figure it out. Well, more problems. Pinched injectors. And all messed up O-rings on the top side. One of these actually had material. I think it was this one. There it is. Actually torn. So needs new O-rings, needs a spacer on here. So we'll get them fixed up. All right, so we got a new setup here. So you see that metal ring, it's kind of like a retention ring that holds this so it don't get crushed up around here, and that's what was happening. And then we got new O-rings on the back side. So I've been bleeding pretty much all day. And this is the head port bleed. And as you can see, we're still getting water. Earlier it was a ton of steam. I'm starting to think we have a head gasket problem. Top hose is hard, bottom hose and hot. Bottom hose is normal and cold. So we are creating some pressure, and typically that means bad head gasket or a cracked sleeve, and you're creating cylinder pressures within the coolant system. So I think that's what's going on here. I'm going to attempt a little bit more bleed, but it doesn't seem like anything I do, we are creating pressure and steam. So I think we got a bad head gasket. You can see I'm getting solid water out of our funnel, out of our head. Solid water. Right. Typically, whenever I have solid water like that on any other car, it's usually bled, and the heater works, everything works, but as soon as I go out and give it any type of drive and give it some boost or any type of normal driving, I lose my heat, I create pressure, and it just goes to shit. So we have a huge air pocket in our heater core hose. That's that guy in the back. We had a big old, all right, now it's solid water. Put that cap back on. So yeah, we keep creating a lot of air pockets. Just making me think of head gasket. Well, that's gonna do it for Junior's car. He pretty much said, we're pretty sure it's a head gasket at this point. I actually took the thermostat out completely and ran it, and it's creating a ton of pressure in the pipes, and it's still getting hot. So I'm pretty sure at this point it's a head gasket or a cracked sleeve, or dropped a sleeve and it's pushing coolant. And I even tried to bottom throttle it at one point, and it's just breaking up real bad. Air to fuel's all over the place. So there's something going on in the cylinders. He doesn't really want me to tear into it. So he's going to end up coming and getting the car, and I think he might be parting the car out. I think he's going to sell the motor and everything, and then put it back to a stock S2000 and sell. So guys, keep an eye out. It's actually a really clean car. I just think the car has seen too many garages, too many people, too many different tuners, and there's just a lot of stuff. For me, I would have to just go over the entire car because I don't know what's been done, and there's just a lot of stuff that's kind of hanky, and I don't know. It could be a lot of things. So he doesn't want to get into a big bill because at this point, I mean, we'd have to get the motor out, or at least take the head off, look at the head gasket, look at the sleeves, see what's causing this severe pressure in the coolant system. It could just be as simple as a head gasket, or it could be a lot worse. And the thing about tearing into a motor is once you tear into it and you start finding other things, you know, the bill starts going up, the time, the parts, the labor. So he just doesn't want to do that right now. So I don't blame him. I mean, there's some people, you know, got to stay in a budget. And some people, this is just a minor hobby for them. They're not willing to put tons and tons and tons of money into a car. Other people don't care. Anyways, sucks that I couldn't help him more. I mean, I think I did help him. I helped him figure out what's going on. He thought he thought it was a new motor. He didn't think anything was wrong, but he said it was fine until they started tuning it. So I'm assuming something went wrong when they were tuning, even lifted a head gasket, or it detonated and blew a head gasket, or something happened during the tune. So that's unfortunate. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Again, I appreciate it. Comment, like, subscribe. If you haven't got t-shirts, please do. Remember, I'll be at I'll be at Airport, Berkeley Springs, West Virginia this weekend. Come on out if you want to see us. I'm going to be racing small tire. So don't expect to get too far, but I'm going to give it all she's got and see what happens. My car is fixed. The TCT just needed a better washer on the back, and I also sandblasted the worm gear, and the ticken's gone. So it was definitely a TCT problem. So that's pretty common with S2000s, is timing tensioners. They're just real finicky. So got to watch out for that. Anyways, guys, appreciate it. Thank you. Comment, like, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. See you.